Brian Robinson was one of few people, and this was before we were blessed to have Justin Smith join us now as the lead scouting and recruiting analyst. Prior to that time, Brian Robinson was one of those guys that I self-scouted. Like, I was at all of his games. I was in just about all of his interviews. I was there. If Hillcrest had a game, I was Johnny on the spot right there to watch Brian Robinson run the football. And the speed that he had at that time, the power he had at that time, the footwork, the strength, the ability to sort of put that team on his back and run with that team at that time was second to none. So when he committed and he came to Alabama, it was like, oh, happy day. I mean, we got Brian Robinson, we got B-Rob in here. Like, he finna do what it do. He finna set the world on fire. And in his 3 years, he's improved his numbers each season. Let's give him that credit. He has improved upon his numbers in each of the last 3 years. This past season, 96 carries, 441 yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground, 11 catches for 124 yards. But, at 6'1", 226 pounds, the biggest thing with Brian is not just, building up the speed, which Dr. Matt Ray is doing. He's going to do. He's getting that done right now. He's working with that. I mean, if Najee Harris with Brad Lester can get his shuttle time down to 3.7 seconds. I mean, if y'all haven't seen that video, go check it out on Twitter right now. Brad Lester is putting in work with Najee Harris. He's gotten his shuttle run time down to 3.7. That is awesome right there. So if Najee can do that, Brian Robinson can improve his initial burst, his initial quickness, his initial first step, upon getting the football. But the reason why we bring Robinson into the equation is that, there are a select few guys that I listen to when you talk NFL draft. No offense to Todd McShay and Mel Kiper Jr. They've been doing this for a long time. They're good. They get paid for what they do. But the guys that I listen to, if Daniel Jeremiah is saying something, I'm tuning into Daniel Jeremiah because, this is a guy that's played the game. He's been a scout for 20 plus years in the game, in the NFL. He's also working for NFL.com. He gives the big time analysis. He dives into the real nuts and bolts of things. Same thing with a guy like Bucky Brooks. He does the same thing. I also look at a guy by the name of Jim Nagy. Jim Nagy, who is the executive director for the Senior Bowl. I've met him a couple of times. Really good, smart, sound, savvy dude. Executive director for the Senior Bowl. He's been an NFL scout for over 18 years. He's an NFL draft analyst. He breaks in everything. He takes down everything piece by piece, frame by frame. And I remember he posted a tweet to social media on yesterday about how prior to Najee Harris going off, being more aggressive, turning up the second half of the football season last year for Alabama, a lot of NFL scouts were more so drawn to Brian Robinson being the more complete back, Brian Robinson being the total package, Brian Robinson being the creme de la creme type of player at the running back position. This is coming from Jim Nagy. But he mentioned how, in terms of backup running backs, Robinson is the next in line of backups with star NFL starter potential for the Tide. And he brought up, Kenyon Drake. He also brought up, Josh Jacobs as comparisons to or for Robinson in this ideal here. Going back to Kenyon Drake, we all remember Drizzy Drake was behind one TJ Yeldon and also Derrick Henry. 2015, Drake was behind Henry. And though Henry grabbed all the headlines, all the page clippings, all the attention, all the media persona, Kenyon Drake, y'all remember that national championship game against Clemson? Kenyon Drake can fly! Eludes the kicker! Touchdown, Drake! 95 yards in that matchup. And he took that, and he got drafted by the Miami Dolphins in the 3rd round, and now he's with the Arizona Cardinals, and the young man is turning heads right now in the league. That was Kenyon Drake. And then you look at Josh Jacobs, who was the backup behind Damian Harris and also Bo Scarborough, but Josh Jacobs in 2018 became the man, became a fan favorite, and he ended up getting drafted higher than both of those guys. Jacobs went in the 1st round of a 2018 19 venue to those Las Vegas Raiders. So you kind of see the pattern, the trend here that, Jim Nagy is talking about. So for Brian Robinson, the potential's there. The potential's there, the talent is there, the ability is there, it's all there. For him, it's building up the speed, right? It's getting that initial quickness, that initial burst, that first step upon his hand, touching that football in place, but also going back to Charles Huff, running backs coach, it's getting Brian Robinson to stay true, to stick to who he is. He's a power back. He's a throwback, downhill, one cut, north and south. Get up in the hole, do your business, and mean business in you doing that business. So that's what Charles Huff has got to get Brian Robinson bought solely, into, or push him more so into that realm there. Because at times last year, I know you guys as Tide Nation saw this, I myself included, there were moments where, to me, it was like, B-Rob sort of looked at Najee Harris and was like, maybe I can hurdle. Maybe I can jump over guys. Maybe I can incorporate a spin move into my game. No, Brian. No, Brian. That's Najee. That's what people expect from Najee. What people expect from you, B-Rob, toughness, hit the hole, mean business, get that speed up, go in between the tackles. You run guys, you plow guys over. You are a different back. And you got to stick to, what you were brought into the Crimson Tide to do. Build up the speed, yes. Get the initial quickness down, absolutely. But stay true to your calling card, your persona of being that downhill power back. But as always, Tide fans, you want to have the best in news, notes, information, and coverage on your favorite program. This is very simple and easy to do. You can access this by going to the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You can download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you just so happen to have the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you covered here. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We have you covered. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I shall return on Monday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. Link will be found in the description. But until next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing those things legitimately now to not be bored. Get those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great naps a day. Protect yourself. Protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and this has been In My Own Words. Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.